this be the priority projects that the government will be getting into just 1 year into their governance, because there are other areas that are in dire need of government's attention. And just to be clear on this conversation I joined this morning, and this is where the critics are essentially coming from. But when you look at the healthcare sector in the country, they've not figured it out. It's when they're trying to figure it out. You do know the new NHIF bill that essentially is going to separate Kenyans into 3 cadres, where if you're well-moneyed, you can go get this treatment. If you're not well-moneyed, then you're essentially put in 3 different cadres that you have to pay for, even though you're going to access healthcare in the country. Good. Education. John, you and I know very well that there's already a crisis that has been created in the education sector in the country in as regards higher education. It is now cheaper to go to a private school or private university in this country than it is to go to a public university as it stands. That indeed, when it comes to those priority projects, John, where they had to figure it out by themselves, and that's what I'm getting at you, that, oh, it's us now, let's figure it out by ourselves. They have not, John, but those ones were already figured out. The likes of BBI, the likes of Huduma number, guess what? They're already taking. They're already taking ground, isn't it? Because the framework was there.
The you do not invent the wheel. You reinvent the wheel. The truth of the matter is,
the painting it is reinventing it. Oh, I've created a new car. It's now red.
Yes, it's now red and it's moving. The thing is this: governance is not easy.
Yeah.
If you were to really analyze and try to understand what politicians tell us when they're campaigning, like I said, they will tell you all these beautiful things about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and who is going to pay for it, and how they're going to do to mobilize the resources and so on and so forth. But once they get into office, it all falls apart. So it is a very, very brilliant idea. You look at of course, Kenya Kwanza had what is called the plan.
That's it.
Which is basically lays out most of these things. And actually, when you look at, for example, the health issue, it's actually the way they are proposing is what is in the plan.
No, sir.
They're actually implementing what is in the plan. As to whether it's going to be successful, nobody knows, because it's still early days. But the truth of the matter is, Maisha number is the same concept. BBI 2.0 is BBI 1.0.
No,
but now from history, because history repeats itself, we know that some of these things ended up in abject failure. So we know that BBI 1 failed. So most likely BBI 2 is going to fail. Huduma number failed.
Yes.
Most likely Maisha number is going to fail. What else? There's the issue of what else have they tried to replicate from the previous administration. The issue of debt, we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
That unfortunately we're in a situation where we accumulated so much debt that unfortunately, like I said, it's the first charge on our expenditures. That we have to pay first before anything else. So that's a sad reality.
Yes.
So the government of the day, even if we were to say, for example, hypothetically, if this administration was to go home today, the administration that will come tomorrow will face the same problems. They will have to start by paying debt. So that's a reality that we are in.
That's it.
And that is why last time when we were having a conversation, my desire would be that perhaps we should be asking the circumstances under which we took this debt, what we did with the debt, and who is responsible.
That's it.
And could some of these, especially the international debt, be what we call odious debt, which means that if it is odious, then it means we do not have, it removes the responsibility from us to pay it back.
That's it.
Because some of these expenditures, honestly, SGR, almost $1 trillion shillings, that ends up somewhere duka moja along Narok, so that is one. The other thing I like using the example of the expressway from Lolongo to Westlands. How do we justify spending 105 billion on 29 kilometers of road? That works out to about 4 billion a kilometer.
Somebody said, when you say 29, is it both ways? Or?
Just a stretch. So both ways is 58,
yeah.
But it's on the same elevation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same pier from that point to that point.
Exactly.
And the way I like, just think about this, because many people are familiar with the road. Think of it this way: you see the roundabout from Haile Selassie,
yeah.
Pale Green Park,
Yes,
all the way to about Museum Hill. You see Museum Hill, the interchange there? It's about 3 kilometers.